Detective Senior Constable Andrew Fraser. Andrew joins us on behalf of the charity partner Are You OK Day. Andrew is a nationally accredited weightlifting coach and father of 3 based in Lismore. He served as a police officer for the last 15 years and has seen firsthand how a conversation can change a life. He understands what it's like to be down and out and will be sharing his insights and thoughts on how we can bounce back and support our mates through tough times. Before I give Andrew the microphone, I'll ask Callum Robinson, Simonetta Gaeta and Caroline Henry if they could come up into the front row, please. And Andrew, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the welcome. Thank you for having us here, New South Wales Farmers. It's a privilege, and as the introduction said, I've been a member of the police force for now 16 years, and I've spent the last nearly 12 years of those in rural New South Wales. I am a weightlifting coach. I'm also a rugby coach, so I'm well aware of community and how sport and how important team and our mates are. And I'm privileged to be here today. As I said, my early recollections have been in country New South Wales, where as a young child, being taken down to a friend's farm in Urana and wake up in the morning to have porridge and listen to the radio blaring with the stock report going. And being born and bred in Canberra, I was not aware of what that meant. So to be here today in front of you all, I thank you. I'm going to talk, as said, on behalf of the organisation Are You OK? You may have seen the stall. We're actually not a coffee stall. We're here for a totally different reason, and that's to talk to you that conversations can change lives. We're going to talk about a topic that is present in country New South Wales, and unfortunately it revolves around the topic of suicide. But Are You OK is an organisation where we're trying to implement strategies back to the community, and as I said, the topic may be unpleasant. I'm going to play a video, and if people want to leave the room, by all means do that during the video, and then I'll go into the rest of my presentation. So we'll start with a presentation first. Thank you.
Congregation responsibilities, I'll try to sort of indicate to you generally where I am. It's sort of masking my intention, that is that I've decided to kill myself. And I was just sort of waiting for the best time and preparing myself and getting myself to the stage where I could actually do it.
That was my father speaking the last few hours of his life. He was a successful businessman, but no one had any idea that he was going to commit suicide.
It was scary losing my father. As a son, it kind of throws up a whole bunch of questions for you about, well, what does this mean for me? Because I thought, if this is my hero, this is the guy that I felt most like in the world, and if he was capable of that, then I am too.
I really thought the devastation had the power to sort of blow us apart. Everybody was shocked, especially Gavin and the boys.
I've been able to channel what happened to Dad and, my sense of helplessness about that into something positive, which was a national suicide prevention movement called Are You OK Day?
A national suicide prevention initiative that represents the united efforts of the suicide prevention sector and the mental health sector. It's a first for Australia.
Tell us why it is so important to have these conversations. 2,100 Australians take their lives every year.
That's right, and for every one that takes their life, there's 30 that attempt.
It's Are You OK Day, when we're all encouraged to check on the welfare of a friend or a colleague.
Australian celebrities have turned out to support Are You OK Day to help prevent suicide.
Being a footballer and a male, you think you can sort the problems out by yourself, but sometimes you need to ask for help, and sometimes you're too proud or you're too macho.
I'm in treatment, undergoing chemo, and obviously doing everything I can to beat the disease. And in the context of my father's death, I find that quite ironic. Like, I want to live desperately.
what could have been really negative has turned into a positive, in that Gavin realised the power in his story and what could be done to help other families.
Are You OK aims to create a world where people feel connected and are protected from suicide. We want to inspire and empower people to ask Are You OK of anyone who might be struggling in life.
I'm really inspired by what was created at Are You OK Day, but it's easy to take people for granted. Sometimes just a friend coming up to you saying, "Hey man, everything good? Are you okay?" Just can open up an opportunity for people to talk about what's going on. I think it's a simple thing, but very valuable thing.
I don't know if that slide's about to turn over. There we go. So are you okay? A conversation can change your life. A conversation can change your life. Now, why I became a detective, I can't answer that, but I certainly remember as a young person getting the Sunday paper, and some of us may have been confronted with that cartoon would come out on the Sundays. And the interesting thing about Spot the Difference was you would study the image and something just wasn't right. And you'd spend time as a young person or maybe an older person looking at the picture just trying to pick out what wasn't right. Having a conversation is somewhat similar to playing Spot the Difference, as being a detective is. We're trying to always look to see what is the difference or what's going on that doesn't appear to be there. And looking at the detail, and it's something that's apparent through dealing with the conference, is that we deal with facts and figures. And you as farmers continually look at the detail and you like to look at the figures. And when I look at the figures, we talk about things like the cost of weaner steers at Mossvale. We talk about the prices at Inverell in May in 2016. These are prices and facts and figures that relate to you. We talk about the rainfall, and these are figures that are directly relating to you. But me, as a person in my line of work, I have to deal with the facts. And the facts are, with suicide, that in 2010 to 2014, an average of 2,577 deaths per year. Suicide is the biggest killer of Australians under 44 years of age. These are the facts. In 2014, 75% of suicide deaths were males. Depression, isolation, disconnection, drug and alcohol use are all indicators of people at higher risk of suicide. The next fact is that in Australia, 1 in 5 Australians will experience a mental illness over their lifetime. And if I can relate that back to small communities in New South Wales, a township like Tarcutta with a population of 250 people, the facts start to rely that 50 people within the town may be suffering with a mental illness. Life presents to us many challenges, and policing and farming are no different. We both have our respective challenges. The land, in some regards, is no different to any other job. We go through the emotional highs and the emotional ups and downs. And in 2007, when I was based at Glen Innes, I was faced with a similar circumstance. I had to attend a fatal motor vehicle accident where 2 people had passed away. One of those persons in the car was the son of a police officer. The personal impact on me, whilst trying to do my job professionally, started to crumble away at me. And if it wasn't for the recognition of my wife, who trusted her gut and confronted me and asked if I was okay, things may have been different. My wife's instinct to ask me that question led me to go and see a psychologist. And in seeing a psychologist, it enabled me coping strategies to deal with the situation. And it was all done purely through conversation. And I think some of us have a stigma of seeing the doctor or seeing the psychologist, that we may be led down another path, but purely through conversation, I was able to be given coping strategies to deal with that situation. That was for me as a person. But in a small town, there's also similar circumstances that allow us opportunities to converse. I was based in Inverell for a number of years, and fortunately for me, I got invited to go to the tennis club each Wednesday night. Some of this may be relevant to some people within the conference here, but it was a weekly chance for us to get together to converse and have some form of connection, and also allowed dollar beers for when that was allowed. But the beauty about the tennis club, and something that really related back to me, is that we realised that we were stronger together, and it's a key message, that we are stronger together and we make more time for the people that matter the most. The power of conversation is incredible, and at the tennis club, it was a time and a place for people to open up. It was an environment that allowed us to talk, and it was a natural occasion for me to ask people if they were okay. And I challenge you to walk away from this conference today to put yourselves in situations where you can ask people if they're okay. A conversation can change your life, and one example I do give is when I was at Inverell, I dealt with a young lad who was a deaf farmer at 23 years of age. He was based at Bundara and isolated not only by distance but by his condition. He was not in a good position. As the coach of the rugby club, I put an ad in the paper. I was seeking all kinds of people just to come and trial out for the club, and his father saw that as an opportunity and brought him along. And from that, we started a conversation with Paul, and we started to change his life. Now, Paul, some years on, has now not only played rugby for the first time, but he's played in a premiership team. He's represented the zone. He's played for Australia as a deaf player, and recently was married and had his second child, all through the power of conversation. Country life presents us with opportunities where we can have conversation. Whether it's via commerce up at the sale yards, social events like the tennis club, sporting occasions. These are all opportunities that allow us to ask, are you okay? And don't be afraid to dig a little bit deeper. In listening to some of your stories up at the booth today, some of us have confronted people in our communities where things just weren't right. Are you okay gives you some strategies where you can start to dig a little bit deeper. And ultimately, Are You OK as an organisation, we've put together resources, and you'll see the website there. And I encourage you again during the breaks to come up to the stall and see the ladies or myself, grab a card, grab some paraphernalia and take it back to your own communities. We need our mates about, and that's the simple fact. Looking after our mates is the key issue I want to get across today. The ability to help people open up can change their lives, as seen with Paul the farmer, and I'm sure in plenty of other examples in your own lives where we've initiated conversation with people, we've had a definite impact on them. We don't need to have all the answers, and that's something I want to stress to you, is that we don't have all the answers, but we certainly have the resources in small country communities that are available to us. And organisations like Are You OK, with our cards and our paraphernalia and our stickers, we would like to try and broaden your expanse to take that message home to your people today. And ultimately, as I said to the bottom there, I'd rather be talking about wiener prices than statistics. Are You OK is something very dear to me, and I look forward to you leaving this conference and trying to bring the message back to your people. Thanks again, and ultimately, if you do get a chance, come up by the stall and see us later on and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.